everybody, this is Jamie talking about his father, the worst topic that anyone could ever imagine for me in my life history. My father kicked me out when I was 16, 17 years of age, I should say. My grandmother Harcum took me in, and I lived with her for a couple of years and tried to finish high school there, but I didn't finish high school, and I'll tell you that story as well. Let's see. My father then did something to my dog that I had, whose name was Grumpy, who will probably be at the end of this picture, at the end of the video, in a picture. He was a sweet dog. He did something to the dog where the dog got sick and the dog had to be put down. Then the woman next door that was living next to us at the time told my mother, point blank, well, I guess he got rid of Jamie, and now he got rid of the dog Grumpy, so I guess the next two will be you and Jesse, which happens to be my brother. Okay. So shortly thereafter, a couple of days gone by, my grandmother and I get a phone call on the phone. It's my mother on the phone, crying, because my father had to sit down with a gun at the kitchen table. Told my mother and my brother to get out, point blank, at gunpoint. So my grandmother and I and my grandfather went down to pick up my mother, get some of her stuff that was out, and my stuff as well was still down there too, actually. So I had to get some of my stuff as well as my brother's and my mother's. And my grandmother said, we'll hook up my grandfather's trailer back to the Suburban, 1979 Suburban, because we could haul a lot of stuff back then. Went down to get some of the other stuff that we had left there, and half the stuff was already gone. Where it gone, I have no idea. But I do know that once my mother and my brother left the house, my father moved in next door to the woman that he was fooling around with, who happens to be married to him at this time still. Her name is Carolyn. Carolyn, I don't know her last name, but her last name, maiden name, but her married name is Vermillion now. Anyways, they live in Arizona. His name is Paul Vermillion. I haven't been in contact with my father for over 20 plus years. Every year around Christmas time, so I'm hoping to get another one sometime shortly, either in the mail or in an email, he sends us a letter. Tries to get controversy stirred up between me, my brother, and my mother, where we're fighting between us. And I'm sick of it, actually. Recently, he sent us an email stating that, to my brother and I, that he has taken us out of his will, not to be looking for anything in his will. You weren't in our life for 20 years. What makes you think we're going to want something from your sorry ass now? Then he sent me an email wanting forgiveness. And I'm going to read a letter that I wrote back to him, which kind of explains my father, kind of explains the situation, why I can't stand my father to this day. And I'll even read you the remarks that he wrote back to me. This is the letter I wrote to him. Because remember, he was looking for forgiveness from me. This is the letter I wrote back to him. Forgive someone of the past is what you're looking for here. I wasn't the one sleeping around with our babysitters, which he did a lot. Not to mention wanting us to tell one of our babysitters we wish you could be our mommy. Which I did not follow your command at that stupid idea of yours. Jesse did, but he was younger than me and really didn't know what was going on. But I sure as hell did. Or, how about when I was in the hospital for dehydration? You remember that? You told everybody that I was faking being sick so I didn't have to go to school. And my grandmother Harcum took me to the hospital, and in 20 minutes longer, I would have been dead from dehydration. Which is what you probably was hoping for after all. You didn't want a gay son in your life. Oh, and let's not forget about the time that I was in the hospital for dehydration, that you went to some other sick kid's room because of the mother in that room. This is my father, mind you. He was fooling around with the woman next door in the next hospital room. I'm in the hospital sick, but he's fooling around with the woman next door who also has a sick kid in the next room, next to me. I remember that because coming out from either testing or coming out of the room somewhere, I remember seeing them either going down an elevator together, and she actually came into my room at one point, acting like my father and her was like old friends. Like, yeah, right, okay. Anyways, let's see. I remember everything bad you have ever done to me. Even calling me sissy, faggot, because I didn't want to work on cars, go fishing, or even shoot a damn fucking deer. Excuse my language, but I'm getting a little riled up, as you can tell. Or when you went out drinking, you came home beating on us because you were so damn drunk, one word that you thought was wrong, and bam, we all got hit. I have stepped in between more than one beating between my mother from my father. I remember sitting there in front of a dryer. My mother was backed up against the dryer. I was in front of my mother, and my father was up in front of me, beating on both of us. Okay. Oh, but I'm supposed to forgive you for that. You ever stop to think that maybe the reason I was acting out, getting into trouble, was just to have someone show me that they cared about me and didn't hate me for not choosing to be, but growing up gay? After all, I was the one mistake you ever made, wasn't it? I might have been your one mistake, but 100% blessing to my mother and grandmother, and I list all my other relatives that I listed in the previous video of who accepted me. Everybody on your side of the family hated me for being gay, with the exception of Grandma and Pat B, Aunt Em and Aunt May, who did not care, and Great Grandma Moggy, who did not care, because that's what we call unconditional love. Oh, and as far as not forwarding these emails of mine to everybody, I guess you could say we know where we picked up some of our lying from, too. Ha ha ha. From you. What's the matter? Life's so boring in Arizona? You have to cause trouble up this way? As far as memories I have of my childhood that are mostly all bad with you in them, all the ones I mentioned above, and when you and Carol did live back here visiting us, putting my mother down 24/7, didn't help me at all either. And the ones I had with my family that I really cared about were wiped away from me in 2001, which I'll explain in the next video about my illness that almost took my life, actually, in 2001. When I was on my deathbed with a breathing tube down my throat. So I am glad for the memories I have of them now. So if you are looking for any forgiveness, well, let's just say none of this flows into me unless I get stirred for the wrong reason. Then I do remember everything you've ever done, even when Uncle Gary and Grandma Harcum had to come pick you up from a hotel and a woman walked out first. I know all the little dirty secrets of yours. You need to stop causing trouble up here, period. If you want forgiveness, don't look for it here. I may forgive, but never forget what you have done to me growing up as a kid. Now, granted, that was a letter I wrote to my father. You ready for the one he wrote to me? You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Here's a thought, you SOB. You can go to hell and leave me alone, you queer. I'm sick and tired of your SHI equal mark. Don't ever contact me again. You can go to hell in your own time with all the other homos. I tried to be nice, but you are the most sick in the head SOB I know. But I'm not the one beating on your wife, fooling around babysitters, fooling around other hotel rooms with other women, etc., etc. That'd be you, my father. Everybody is wrong but you. Read your Bible, you're going to hell, and I'm glad. That's where you belong, hell. Ooh. Don't ever contact me again. I never contacted him to begin with. Ever. Never. I will never do it. I don't ever want to hear from you, even if you were in the hospital. I disown you. Let Joel be your dad. I disown you 20 plus years ago when you kicked me out. Ha ha! And I don't care who you tell about this letter. You are the worst person I know. Yes, I know. Thank you. I greatly appreciate this award. Anyways, that's my father in a nutshell. So, thank you for listening. Now you know my background of my father and why I am who I am today is not because of him. It's because of the other people that I mentioned in the prior video. Love and laughter and peace.